Dear students, welcome Hoshamdeep and Hosh Galdanas. Today I am going to discuss with you the features and trends of Victorian novel. So today we are going to discuss Victorian novel. As it is evident from the title of the kind of literature that evolved during the period of Queen Victoria is famously known as Victorian literature or the literature of Victorian era. The exact time frame of the Victorian literature is from 1837 to 1901 because this is the whole scenario and whole time period of the Victorian age. And during this very time period, the literature of Victorian era just entered into a new period after the Romantic Revival. The literature of this era was preceded by Romanticism, as we all know, and it was followed by Modernism or Realism. So, the Victorian literature can be considered a fusion of romantic and realistic style of writings. And when we talk about the whole scenario of the Victorian age has just produced two great poets who are Tennyson and Robert Browning. But the age is also remarkable for the excellence of its prose and particularly for its fiction and novel. When we talk about Victorian novel and the trends of Victorian novel, then we just come to know that the Victorian novels tend to be more idealized portraits of different phases and different issues of human lives, in which the hard work, perseverance, love, and luck win out in the end. The very novels, the Victorian novels or the novelist, they represent society as they find it. And when we prop deep into the historical time period of this very era, Victorian era, we come to know about a lot of difficulties, about a lot of problems that were created due to the transition of industrialization. And on that time, due to that industrialization, there were a lot of upheavals in the societies for particularly and the exploitation of women and children. They were living in the terrible conditions on that time, and this very thing is evident in the Victorian novels, in the novels of Charles Dickens, in the novels of George Eliot, and even in the novels of Bronte sisters. So just like modernists, the Victorians, they used their novels to depict the evil side of their society, to depict the sick side of their society, to depict the diseased society of their time, and they try to find remedies for those issues in those novels. The very thing realism is first time witnessed by Victorian novel. Before this, the novel had some moral purposes or didactic purposes behind it, or even moral or religious purposes behind this, or it was written in the form of autobiographies, it was written in the form of prosaic pieces, it was written in the form of travelogues, just like Defoe's works, just like Swift's work, Gulliver's Travel. But when we come to the Victorian time period, we find the very genre of literature, novel, flourishing in its full swing, and it is so charged with the passion of depicting reality of the society, with the passion of portraying the social pictures and the follies and the not only the vices of the society, but the Victorian novel also intend to resolve those issues, though, to address those issues, and to suggest remedies for those issues, as we find in the novels of Charles Dickens. Again, I am just exemplifying, and even in the novels of Thomas Hardy. So, during the Victorian time period, the novel has become a very powerful instrument for human progress. And secondly, the Victorian literature, the whole Victorian literature, seems to deviate from the strict principles of art for art's sake. In the Victorian novel, we find a very strong bent towards art for life's sake. They are writing for serving some purposes in real life, for serving some real purposes of human lives, for addressing some real issues of human life. So it isn't only art for art's sake, rather its bent is more towards art for life's sake as compared to art for art's sake. In this sense, we can say that in Victorian novel, there is also a bent towards didacticism. The Victorian novels, they are also didactic, they are suggestive. Like if we analyze the fiction of Bronte sisters, and particularly their famous works, Jane Eyre, Shirley, and the Professor, and then if we analyze the work, the Wuthering Heights, these three four works are academically celebrated works of Bronte sisters, and in those novels we find the individual in the direct experience in the direct experience with society. Well, when we study Jane Eyre, the whole novel is based on the struggle of a girl from her childhood till her youth to assert herself or to stand on her own. And she has to face a lot of phases in her life, a lot of difficulties in her life, but with determination and passion for doing something, she has just overcome all those difficulties. And at the end of this novel, we find Jane Eyre not only a successful career woman, but also a woman having properties due to some good fortune. And secondly, she is not only surviving on her own, rather she is also represented, able to sport Mr. Rochester, and she at the end holds the hand of Mr. Rochester, who was earlier a landlord and a businessman sort of person. So in this very thing, the very crux that we come from this that we get from this novel is that an individual needs to be resilient in order to survive in this society. And not only in this work of Bronte sisters, in almost all the Victorian novels, even in the novel of Thomas Hardy, in the novel of George Eliot, in the novel of Dickens, we find the same kind of individuals who are facing different sort of difficulties and different sort of issues regarding different fields of life, regarding love, regarding freedom, regarding different social issues, regarding prostitution, but they fight resiliently, and at the end they win. In a Victorian novel, the major trend of narration is that the narrator is generally omniscient, and he operates a marked division between good and evil characters. He judges the people and actions. He makes its stories finish with a wise distribution of punishment for evil characters, retribution for the good ones. So the narrator is this way omniscient in all the Victorian novels. In all the Victorian novels, we find the individuals in quest of improving their nature, with the central moral lesson at heart. So they're all working on themselves. They're all working to improve themselves in order to improve their society. So this is another prominent and radical feature of Victorian novel. That's why this very aspect is also evident in the modernist literature, that the individual tries to assert oneself on the society, tries to speak of their own consciousness, speak out of their own inner self. So this very Victorian feature, it gets nourishment, it is highly used and praised in and it is widely used in the modernist literature. Rather, I should say that actually this very feature of asserting one's individuality and individualism and working on oneself is actually polished by the modernist writers and the modernist literature. In Victorian novels, we find the plots that are very long and they're very complicated. They have many subplots in that, and these very features of having so many subplots within a plot and a complicated plot setting, this is a way to give an impression of the realistic picture of the society, and that's why Victorian novelists use this in their fiction. So in Victorian novel, we do not only find the adventures and activities of the central characters, but we also find the secondary ones doing something, making some deeds. This very thing is evident as a feature of realism in their literature. The widely dramatized and widely acknowledged Victorian novelists include Charles Dickens, Bronte sisters, and Thomas Hardy. And most of their writings, they are also the part of films now. They are the part of cinematography now, and they are even very popular in the modernist and the postmodernist time period. We will try our best to have a separate session for each writer or novel that is academically celebrated in our next videos. Thank you so much for today. Allah Hafiz.